Hello, everyone. Welcome to Untold History, where we explore the great stories that have transcended time. Today we're going to dive into the oldest epic poem we know, the Epic of Gilgamesh, a masterpiece of Sumerian literature. Written around 2100 BC, this epic is not only one of humanity's oldest literary works, but also contains a profound reflection on existence, power, friendship, and death. The story transports us to the ancient city of Uruk in Mesopotamia, one of the first civilizations of humanity, cradle of kings, temples, and traditions. Uruk was once an epicenter of Sumerian culture and religion, and its greatness was second only to that of its legendary king, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, according to history, was an extraordinary being with two-thirds divinity and one-third humanity, which gave him exceptional strength and abilities. However, this hybrid nature also made him a haughty and sometimes despotic king. His power and ego seemed to know no bounds, and the citizens of Uruk, his subjects, lived under the yoke of his whims. The gods, aware of Gilgamesh's arrogance and concerned about the suffering of his people, decided to intervene. To balance the forces, they created Enkidu, a wild, strong, and free being whose mission would be to teach Gilgamesh a lesson about humility and humanity. Enkidu was a creature of nature, raised far from civilization, in harmony with animals and the wild environment. He was equal in power to Gilgamesh, but opposite in character. Enkidu's arrival in Uruk marked a turning point in the king's life, as after a series of encounters and challenges, the two formed a friendship that would change their destinies forever. Through this friendship, Gilgamesh began to understand the value of empathy, loyalty, and respect for others. Enkidu became not only his friend, but also a guide and a brother. The epic tells how Gilgamesh and Enkidu face various challenges together. From facing the demon Humbaba, guardian of the cedar forest, to defeating the celestial bull sent by the goddess Ishtar, their alliance grows stronger with each adventure. However, their friendship also exposes them to the designs and punishments of the gods. After the defeat of the celestial bull, the gods, outraged by the arrogance of both and the challenge they represent to their authority, decide to punish Enkidu, who falls ill and dies. Enkidu's death marks a turning point in history. Gilgamesh, devastated by the loss of his friend, is confronted for the first time with his own mortality. Up until that moment, he had lived as if he were invincible, as if death could not catch up with him. However, upon seeing Enkidu's lifeless body, he realizes that he too is vulnerable, that his time on Earth is limited. Desperate and fearful of his fate, he embarks on an epic journey in search of immortality, a journey that will lead him to face numerous challenges, question his own beliefs, and eventually accept the truth about life and death. During his quest for immortality, Gilgamesh travels to the end of the known world, searching for Utnapishtim, the only mortal to have survived the flood and been blessed with eternal life by the gods. Utnapishtim, upon hearing Gilgamesh's request, tells him the story of the Great Flood, a story that, centuries later, would influence biblical accounts such as Noah's. But Utnapishtim also teaches him an important lesson. Immortality is not the fate of mortals, and the pursuit of it is a futile enterprise. Through this teaching, Gilgamesh begins to understand that his true purpose is not to escape death, but to live in such a way that his memory will endure beyond his time. Thus, upon returning to Uruk, Gilgamesh has not only changed, but has found a new sense of purpose. He has learned that his immortality lies in the legacy he leaves, in the works he builds, in the impact he has on his people. He is no longer the tyrannical and self-centered king of before, but a wise leader who is aware of his role in the lives of his subjects. At the close of the epic, Gilgamesh contemplates the walls of Uruk, which he himself helped to build, and understands that these walls, as a symbol of his reign, will be his legacy. Not only does this poem offer us a fascinating portrait of Sumerian mythology and beliefs, but it also raises universal questions about life, death, and the search for meaning. The story of Gilgamesh has transcended millennia, influencing poets, philosophers, and writers throughout history. Through his adventures and reflections, Gilgamesh invites us to consider our own lives, to think about what we leave behind, and how our actions and relationships define us. Ultimately, the Epic of Gilgamesh is a reflection on human nature, on our search for purpose, and on the acceptance of our own mortality. The written version of the Epic of Gilgamesh has survived in fragments of clay tablets that were discovered in various archaeological excavations throughout the 19th century. Thanks to the scholars and archaeologists who managed to decipher the ancient Sumerian and Akkadian languages, we can read today this literary gem that dates back to the origins of civilization. These tablets bear witness not only to the history of a king, but also to the culture, religion, and philosophical concerns of one of the world's earliest civilizations. In modern times, the poem has been translated into numerous languages and has been studied in the realm of literature, history, and philosophy. The Epic of Gilgamesh reminds us that even though circumstances change, humanity's fundamental questions remain. The story of a king who sought to defy the gods and transcend his mortality continues to resonate with us, inviting us to reflect on our own role in the world. Thank you for joining us in this story about one of the oldest stories of humanity. Here in Untold History, we will continue to explore legends, epics, and tales that have shaped our understanding of the world. Just as Gilgamesh left his mark on Uruk, we hope to leave a mark on you with these stories. Don't forget to subscribe for more legends and epic stories here on Untold Story. See you soon.